Welcome back. This is MTGO Legacy Review number 3, Rock versus Blue Stax. Round 4, Game 1. Alright, so let's go ahead and get to this opening hand. We are on the play, and mm, this hand isn't great. The problem with this hand is that, we have the top. We can play the second top or the ooze the next turn, and then we can fetch, pop one top to get an extra card. That's not really something I'm all that interested in. That being said, next. This hand is a lot better. We're a little bit slower. We're a lot slower. And we have to lead off with one of our two come into play tap lands, which are ironically both in our hand. And the reason why we're going with the Bajuka Bog is because we have access to both white and black next turn, barring him wasting us. If he wastes us, we're still going to play the Arbor next turn, barring us drawing another land. After seeing this, I feel a little bit worse. Like, nobody likes to be wasted like that. Nobody really wants to have to deal with all those things. But we're still just playing the Arbor just for the fact that we want to be able to use our mana. And, I mean, he's not doing anything yet. So, we don't care too much. Unfortunately, it does put us back a little bit. We want access to our white mana this turn. That way we can Swords end of turn. But, unfortunately, you know, we could always just play Crucible. Oh, there's Mazevith. So now we're a little bit happier. We have access to our knight. And by the way, I'm just talking over this one again. This video is 8 minutes and 59 seconds long, and I will probably talk for 8 minutes and 59 seconds, barring anything else, because, again, I didn't feel like watching any more videos, and it was late in the evening. At this point, what we're looking for right now is, well, that's absolutely horrible for us, by the way. Is a little bit of resiliency. We have this wasteland. We have a Dryad Arbor. We have the ability to kind of turn our mana base into a basics mana base, which is more so what we're interested in than anything else. That being said, the only problem with playing the Stoneforge here is that we should have activated the knight with it right then and there. His hand, horrible. We're going to smash the living daylights out of him. There's nothing in his hand. Literally nothing. No value at all. That being said, that was incorrect. I should have tapped the Dryad Arbor and then activated Knight, sacrificing the Dryad Arbor to go get a fetch land, and then use that fetch land to go get a Plains to play the Mystic. That keeps up both of my lands I can sacrifice if he decides to waste, so that he can't get a valuable waste. Whereas in this case, I've put myself in a position where I am susceptible to that waste land. It would have also given us the white source for right now and allowed us to interact on that level. That was a mistake on his part because we're going to do that. That is the plan. There is no other plan, and there is no other way to do that. Ensnaring Bridge, great call for him. We can't really deal with the Ensnaring Bridge with what we have in hand. That's part of the reason why we're thinning at this point. Granted, that was one of the cards that could have actually swung through an Ensnaring Bridge. Bob gives us the ability to basically draw an out to it. All that we need is Green Sun Zenith, a Pride Mage, pretty much anything. Should have swung with the Mystic there, though. The reason we didn't swing with the Mystic is we're keeping the Knight back because it can't swing. We're keeping the Mystic back because if he doesn't waste, which he just did, we were going to put the Batter Skull in. The unfortunate thing about this Wasteland, or about the last fetch, was that we currently now have to kind of deal with that waste lock over there. We do have one more non-basic in the deck, or one more basic in the deck, and that being the basic Plains. We now also have the diamond, so as long as we don't get that, we're perfectly fine. And Trinisphere, I know he thinks that this is hurtful, but it's not. At least not as hurtful as it should seem. That being said, we can't get a basic forest. And it's a mistake that we make, or that I make, and it's kind of a bad mistake. I mean, losing track of what lands you've played and things like that. Like, here's me realizing, oh crap, the forest is in the yard. Wow, somehow I managed to catch that sneeze. Hey, look, need green mana. Whoops. So yeah, sometimes you do these things and you don't realize this was the biggest misplay of the game. Just forgetting what's in your mana base, forgetting what mana you've used, what lands you've used. It's something that when I first started playing with Knight, when Knight first got introduced to the format, you're welcome, by the way. First time Knight was introduced was by me. Yeah, I don't look at that at all and not wonder why there's no, yeah, whatever. So, oh, this is the end of the game here. We've hit the pulse, we've hit the third land. But, pausing, the first time Knight came into the format, I tended to consider that an undervalued aspect of it. Remembering what lands you've used, what lands are in your deck, keeping track of that is very important. If you can't keep track of it, you're probably going to lose a lot of your Knight fights. Um, Keeping that in mind, trying to adjust your fetches and everything else to incorporate what's available to you to get to maximize your Knight value is something that is completely and utterly overlooked these days. I see a lot of people on streams and everything else just completely fetching for no apparent reason. Sometimes it's better to let Knight sit. That's not typically the case, but sometimes it's better to let Knight sit. That being said, I see a lot of people getting submerged, which is a possibility for the next game. Why are you getting submerged when you can simply sacrifice the force? This deck and many of the other green decks operate off of one green mana. All of the green decks that I've seen have a way to interact with green mana that is not a forest. There shouldn't be more than one forest on the field unless your deck is just like, have all of the forests. There shouldn't be a time that your opponent can really submerge you for full value being you shuffling. And if there is, you should not be fetching. You should not be shuffling. This isn't optional. You can actually, it will stack. It will go on the stack. You can decline to look. If you decline to look, you decline to shuffle. You don't have to. You only have to shuffle for the Stoneforge Mystic if you actually look into your deck. Keep that in mind. Alright, continuing on. So, we now have access to the Pulse. He doesn't want to really waste us anymore because his Ensnaring Bridge is going away, which means that he's now at a point where he's just going to die. And I think I missed a couple attacks in there at some point. And if you want to know why I played that Knight, it's because if he decides to waste us, I'm just going to fetch with the Knight and get another fetch land. That will allow us to confirm in one swing, this is lethal. That being said, should have fetched for the fetch right here. I don't know if I did. Let's find out. We need a wasteland as well. That's not right. Okay. Go for the non-basic. Yep. So didn't fetch for the non-basic. That gives him outs. Because of that, had he been at 20 life, we had the possibility of just being out of the game. Like, if he drew another Ensnaring Bridge, we'd have to go find another way to deal with things. Also, we skipped attacking for a couple turns, which is entirely wrong as well. Ensnaring Bridge doesn't say that everything can't attack, it just says that big things can't attack, which is something that I completely threw off. Oh, disconnected. Alright, there we go. If he mazes a Knight, which is what he has to do, we now have the ability to fetch and waste, which means that a Knight grows 3. That means that for the 3 damage that we have available to us, or that we're going to end up short by him mazing, there's one of it. Here's the maze. Now we can activate the Knight, sacrificing the plains, getting a wasteland, wasting his maze of it, which is also another bad thing for him. It makes sure that he has to have a Ensnaring Bridge next turn if he was at 20 life. So, and we could have gotten another fetch land, but there's no point. I mean, why not deal with what problems are presented to you instead of dealing with what people are showing you? So, that's that game. I'm going to go ahead and go up to the next one, and I will see you in